Gonna rise in peace, 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 love, light, happiness, abundance, knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. I grant unto you all. Yes. So, this Grand Rising, I come on here to speak about this thing they call taxes. And first and foremost, I would also like to mention the services that I offer. There are a lot of services that I will be offering which are not yet in motion, but at this moment I offer spiritual readings. I do past life regression or regression, whatever they call it. But either way, it's not just for someone to go back and preview their past. It's more so for healing. And some of us don't really understand what past life regression or regression is, because we think it's all about just going back into the past just to see the past. That is not what it really is. I do past and future readings. I also have crystals, and I'll soon have even more. I also do readings like speaking to your ancestors. So if one wants to ask their ancestors questions or find out something or get guidance from their spiritual team, I'm like that. I am that one who can go in between the realms and speak and bring back the communication to you from your ancestors, because some of us aren't tapped in, aren't connected with our ancestors and our roots. So that is it for now. And also I would like to make this clear. It doesn't matter how much money you have, if I pick up on your energy and your energy isn't right, I won't read you, even if you will pay me $1 million. I also heal. I'm a healer. Yes, I also heal. I give spiritual advice. There's a wide variety of things that I do. So I would say, if you want spiritual help, all you have to do is reach out to me in my email and make it known to me what kind of help you need, so I can let you be aware if I am able to help, if it is the will of the divine. Now, Also, as I mentioned in previous videos, there are a lot of illiterate persons out there who have been going around spreading false teachings and all this stuff. So you may have gotten remedies and teachings about spirituality which is not true, and also which were old ways which works no more, because it never worked anyway. It was all manipulation. Now, I would like to also say, if you have noticed that I have started to share my messages in a different manner, and this is not my doing, this is doing of the divine, the doing of my ancestors, the doing of the divine beings that I am being led by. For example, if you have watched the Avatar and also some other movies, or should I say cartoons, you would see where the wise ones who were leading the younger ones into getting into that position of leading also, it was like a thing where they only gave them clues, right? So this is it, my friend. As I said, I will not give you all the answers. Some of the answers it's up to you to find out on your own, because there's always a message within the message. Because I can say something and you interpret it a certain way. Not everyone will interpret it the same way, because it was not meant for the message to be interpreted only one way, which is why you have all different angles. So therefore, take from the message what is yours and leave what isn't yours. As I said, if the message doesn't resonate, maybe it's not your portion, maybe it's not your time to understand the message. Maybe it's not your time to accept the message. Yes, so taxes. Now the funny thing about it, when I came out the very first time, when I spoke up on taxes, and I told a few persons that they shouldn't be paying taxes and all these things, they looked at me as a stupid person. They laughed at me, they laughed me to scorn, simply because of their lack of knowledge and understanding. But it's okay. I would like to ask you this question. You have a house, you have land, you have vehicles, you have possessions that you have to pay taxes for. You pay taxes for water and all these things, when truth of the matter is water is free. One shouldn't have to pay for water. That is simply a system bullying you and taking from you. It's no different from when you're going to school and you hear that the 5th or 6th formers go down to the 1st and 2nd grade to collect extortion fees from the younger ones, which is bullying. It's the same thing whether or not you accept it. Now look into this. You have, let's say for instance, your garments, your pants, your shirt. Let's say for instance, for example, you purchased a pants or shoes. You purchased a shoes for $6,000. You purchased a pants for $3,000, right? It is yours. When you purchase that piece of garment, you do not continually pay any returns to keep that piece of garment in your possession, right? So why is it that you think that you should be the owner of something that you are having to keep on paying down on? That is just like you renting a house. You don't own it. You have to keep on paying rent because you are only paying to stay. Is the same thing. A lot of you don't even read the papers that you have for your land. That paper tells you that you are a landholder. You do not own that land. You do not own anything. The government owns it all. So therefore that is why they have the authority to take it, because you only leased it from them, which is what you don't understand. No, I never knew this. I never got up knowing all of this. I learned. Even the wisest person has to learn, because that is where you will get the knowledge from. The wise man gets his knowledge from silence, being silent, because one has to be silent to listen. And I came into the knowing of this thing called fictitious name. A lot of us don't really understand what slavery really is. Bob Marley said, "Emancipate yourself from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our minds." He said in an interview where a man asked him, is he rich? Does he have a lot? He said, "When you say rich, what do you mean? Do you have a lot of possession?" You have a lot of money in the bank. He said, I don't have that type of richness. My richness is life. Most of us didn't understand what he was saying. But at the end of the day, there is this thing they call fictitious name. He also said all pirates yesterday, Rabbi, sold her to the merchant ship. Minutes after they took her from the bottomless pit. There's this thing called fictitious name. If you notice, when there's someone who is deceased, their name is written in all caps on their headstone or on their grave or whatever you want to call it, which is what signifies that that person is no longer in possession of that avatar. That person does not any longer reside in that avatar, in that body, in that vehicle. If you notice, when you are doing any form of business with the government, in most cases, in the same manner your name is being written in all caps, which is also to signify that you are not living. This is also for the black population, the black people. We are not being deemed as living beings. We are being deemed as dead, yet though we are alive. And this is a plot and the scheme of the government, which is why they are able to do fraud and all these things, because you don't even own your name. It's like you only are being registered, but it's like you do not exist, which is why they have access to your wealth. They have access to your possession, which is what makes you a slave. Which is what makes you a straw man. It's like you're in a field harvesting a crop. You're in a field planting corns and harvesting, but you are not enjoying the fruits of your labor, because the slave masters are enjoying the fruits of your labor, which is why one is in slavery and don't understand that they are in slavery, because they don't understand. We don't understand what slavery, what modern day slavery is. You're just like stocks and bonds. Every single one of us name is like an account. It's not like an account. Every single one of us name is an account. Once you are birthed on this realm and you attain a name, when your parents get a birth certificate, which is a fraud, Your parents sign you over to the government, which means your parents don't own you. The government owns you, which means you are an asset to the government. And as I said, when one is deceased, the name is being written in all caps. So why would they be writing your name in all caps and you are still alive? You are still in possession of your avatar. That is simply because it's a plot and a scheme of the government. It's a Ponzi scheme. They are the true tax collectors. They are the extortionists. They are the extortioners. So if one doesn't have the knowledge to know that you are a part of the city, which means you are the city, you are a part of the country, which means you are the country, you are a part of the state, which means you are the state, you are a part of the community, which means you all are the community. You have the city bank, which is where they say all taxes and all these things go to. That is yours and not for the government. But that is how they trick us. Because they tell you that the government is in control of what the tax money is being used for, used to feed those in prison and all these stuff. Those are all lies. Those are all fabrication. That is what they do. That is why you have persons who are a part of the system. If you are a part of the system, as I said in a previous video a while back, a lot of you guys are a part of organizations and cults that you don't even know that you are a part of. But when you are aware that you are a part of that system and that cult, and you pledge allegiance, then you will have this information that I have. And I kid you not, I am not a part of their system or their cult or anything. I'm just exposing what needs to be exposed. When you are a part, you are being in the knowing. You will be in the knowing that all of these persons walking around are simply just livestock. Stocks and bonds. Every single day they grow interest, but they do not benefit from what they attain. They do not benefit from what they have sown, because they have been tricked into being a liability, even though they are an asset. Which is why I told you in a previous video also about that example and explanation with the clock. I told you all these messages are connected and intertwined. There's always a message within the message. So, when you are a part of their system and you pledge allegiance to them and you're in the knowing, you, say for instance, you're a lawyer, a judge, or someone who is higher in higher rankings of society, you will have the privilege to be able to steal from persons, which is why they say, even Iwin said it, they build sepulchres and chops for us. Iwin exposed a lot in his music, but it flew over a lot of us head because we didn't understand what he was speaking about. Now, if you are really paying attention and you are aware, you would see that the persons who are speaking the truth and exposing, they don't really get the exposure because they are being attacked, they are being suppressed by the system because they are exposing the system. And the system doesn't want the people to understand what they speak upon. The system doesn't want us to understand what they are speaking about. Some of them also are afraid, so they have to speak in codes, which is why some will understand and some will not. As I said, the system, or should I say the matrix, survives off of karmic cycles, which means when one comes to this realm and they do a lot of stupid things, karmic things, they benefit from it because that is what their system thrives upon. That is what their system is being built up on. Crime and violence and all these things. Because if you are living what you are being deemed as a dead person because of the laws of their system, really and truly, they really and truly get to reap the benefit without anything chasing back to them when you leave your avatar. So it's like you having a garden filled with corn, but you never reap it, or if you do reap it, you give it all away. Their aim is to have you eradicated so that they can have possession of your cornfield and have whosoever they need in that cornfield as their slaves. No. Fictitious name is a name that most, if not all of us are under, which means it is not even Really, it's like you do not exist. But there is a way for you to claim back your sovereignty. There is a way for you to claim back your assets because it's all there sitting. And our ancestors were the ones who made the divine laws, as I said. I don't think I mentioned that in any of my previous videos, but all laws on this realm are from the ethers. All laws on this realm are governed under spiritual laws, which means when you break those laws, you have to pay. There's no going around it, because even the judicial system, the court system, the laws of the court system were made under the laws of the spiritual realms, as above, so below. If you understand those teachings, as above, so below. So there is no going around that. So as I said, their system thrives on this cycle going around and around, which is why you have some families which will always be rich, because they have the understanding of these things. So when they are deceased, they leave this realm, or they leave their avatar, they put in place the correct measures so that their assets will be passed down to their children and their children's children, which is why you will always have families that will never go broke. None of us are broke, we all were born rich. But the system has tricked us into believing that we were born with nothing, while they reap all the benefits and we stand aside in the cornfield after sowing. Some of us help to reap, some of us stand aside and watch them eating. As you have heard about this Thanksgiving thing where they had, the slave masters had feast, and they gave us the spoils. They gave us the leftover, whatever they ate and left. That was what they fed to us. That is the same thing that they are doing. Up to this date, it's no different. It hasn't changed. It's the same thing. So, I would advise, if you are watching this video, you can go to YouTube and type in fictitious name. I don't remember what's the name of this particular person who has the right teaching and guidance on how you can reclaim your name, because you don't own your name, which means you don't own your account. That account that you have, you would say you have a bank account. Well, that is for the system, that is not yours. Your real account is your name, which is a business. Every single person, once you are birthed into this realm, you are a business. Your name is being signed like an LLC or a business. You see, so this is how they have also taken so much lands, because our ancestors had possession of these lands, and our ancestors, you see, they left this realm, they left their avatar, and because of the system having possession of all these things, they took these lands away, which is how the government has access to so many lands. They stole it. They did not attain it the correct way. They stole it, which is why they are able to lead and rule us into damnation. It's all a plot and a scheme. That is the biggest Ponzi scheme. They are the biggest scammers. They are the biggest scammers. They never are being held accountable. Most of them are never being held accountable. Most of them were never being held accountable for the crimes that they have done. But this I say, as above so below, our ancestors signed in blood, and whatever was being signed in blood, you cannot go around it. If you go around it, you will pay. If you don't pay, your children will pay in some way. They may be here enjoying the fruits of our labor, but I kid you not, they will pay for what they have done. And if they do not, their children will pay, which is why you hear me speak upon reincarnation, because they will pay in some way, form or shape, because they will be back and they will have to pay. They cannot outrun time. They cannot outrun the illusion that they have created, because time is an illusion, as we all know. They cannot outrun what they have created, and justice must be served upon this land. So therefore, my friend, if you are paying taxes, it simply means that you are paying the government for the things that you should be owning. They trick you into paying for it, but yet still, on the agreement that they have given you, it says that you have leased it. It is simple as that. If you own something, there is no need for you to keep on paying for it. If you keep on paying down on something, that means that you don't fully own it. You only have possession of it. So, I hope that this message has broken down it into simpler terms where you can understand what it means to pay taxes, why you pay taxes. This is why they don't want us to awaken to the truth. They don't want us to connect back to our roots. Because they know that they will be ushered into the end, which is how Judgment Day is now. Judgment Day is here, and they can't stop it. It was in Revelation. Some of you don't even understand Revelation. I haven't read all of Revelation, but I have read some parts, a few little tips. And also, I do not need to read it anyway. I will read it, but really and truly, the true revelation is within. So, as I said, you may not understand what revelation means because simply this, because of the verbiage being used back in those times, or not the verbiage is being used up to this date. So you may hear, for instance, one speak upon, say for instance, an ark or a plane or a whale, not because a whale today is being depicted as that large fish or whatever, doesn't mean that was the meaning of what a whale was back in the days. I hope this message reaches you all well. As I always say, I have a story to tell, and who don't like it, they can go to hell. Because that will be a lot of them portion. I am here. I was sent here for this reason. I was sent here on a mission, and no one will stop me. I was sent here to destroy the plots and schemes of the enemies. I was sent here to tear down Babylon. As the scripture said, remove yourself from Babylon, or else you will fall also with Babylon. As I said, most of you don't know who Babylon is, because you are a part of Babylon, and who you depict to be Babylon is not Babylon. It's all a trick, it's all illusions. So I hope this message reaches you all well. Read between the lines. The truth has been hidden from us, but the truth has always been right before our eyes. But we fail to accept the truth because we are so distracted. As I mentioned in a previous video, most of us watch movies, but we don't know that movies are documentaries. To open our eyes, there's always a message within the message. Read between the lines. It's time to tap in, it's time to reclaim your sovereignty, it's time to reclaim what is yours.